What is up? 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 What is up, Grocknation? Welcome back today to the arcade for a show and tell, if you will, slash unboxing. If you're asking yourself, Grok, you're kind of off center of your arcade. What's the deal? And who's that handsome pink man behind you? Well, I just wanted to move my camera a bit to showcase my newest collectible purchase in my arcade, which really isn't worthy itself of a full ASMR video, as it's really only just one item, and that is my Bret Hart / Hart Foundation singlet, signed by none other than Bret the Hitman Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart. Super, super, super cool collectible for me to get. Obviously, as both Jim has passed on since, and this is my favorite tag team of all time. Now that we're slowly getting into the wrestling portions of our Grok Reads sections, we definitely were going to hear about these two guys very shortly in these early WrestleMania moments. But we are also unboxing today some collectibles, statues, Funko Pops, etc. that I picked up in Winnipeg, also over the weekend, to add to my new cabinet that I also got about 2 weeks ago now. And it's looking a bit bare, but it was hard for me to invest in collectible statues and such when I just had my little black counter and they could barely fit whatever I had on there, and you couldn't really see it at the time. But now that I have this nice display case, I can really showcase my tastes and some items I think are really cool. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to unbox those, and maybe I'll give you guys a quick overview of my showcase at the end as well, with everything placed inside it, as there are some things you guys haven't seen that are in there. But before we get started again, guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you like this type of ASMR, as there is a lot of different variety of ASMR in this channel. But with that being said, guys, let's get down to unveiling what we're going to be unboxing here. Okay, so before we get into unveiling and unboxing these 4 items, I also want to show you a couple posters I stopped at a little store in Osborne Village in Winnipeg called Hollywood Posters and Toys, and they had unlimited, it seems like, amount of posters from movies, TV shows, etc. from the 90s and 80s. They're all in this size, which really isn't the size I go for, but they come in these nice sleeves. If you buy them, the sleeves are an extra $5. The posters themselves are $10. And I grabbed these two to put in my arcade. John Carpenter's The Thing, one of my favorite horror movies of all time. The practical effects in here, I think, stand good to this day as well. We play The Thing board game from time to time, me and my friends, in this very arcade. So I don't have much real estate for these two guys on the walls behind me. Obviously, I don't like to cover up that custom graffiti wall behind me, where my 2 posters already are covering up a big portion of it, and my arcade machines. And there's not much real estate on my brick wall anymore either, so I think I'll just put these behind my monitors just for me and my friends when we come here. You guys, unfortunately, won't be able to see them. And Friday the 13th, Jason Takes Manhattan, not my favorite Friday. One of my favorites, as Kane Hodder plays Jason Voorhees, but is my favorite poster from the original Jason movies, the original Paramount Jason movies. This is my favorite poster. I loved it when I was a kid. It was so cool, I thought. The original VHS tape. But yeah, guys, we picked up these two at, like I said, Hollywood Toys and Signs on Portage Avenue. And I might as well talk about what we all bought there. So I'd already purchased Bret, which I purchased from Primo's in Kildona Place. And I was like, that's pretty much my budget for collectible shopping this trip. I should say I went down with my best friend Jackass. He was getting a tattoo done, so we were down there for 2 days. And I told him I wouldn't mind looking for collectibles for my display case as well. We seen this singlet at Primo's the last time we were there together. I'm also tempted to get that singlet and put it next to my Street Fighter arcade underneath my arcade sign. I am going to raise the arcade sign up, you guys. I just need to shorten the chain, that's all. And the cool arcade poster my vent. So I'm going to put them there so it'll look still just as good. But once I purchased that, I was like, I don't know. He was still going and looking around. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll go with you. There was one item I seen at Primo's. I was thinking, damn, I should have got that as well. I would end up getting that. But we'll get to Primo's in a second. I want to talk about Hollywood Toys and Games. So we stopped and we looked there, and I got those 2 posters for $30 total with the sleeves and the pictures. And I'm like, hey, that's good enough. Well, they had Funko Pops there, a whole wall of them. I'm not big on Funko Pops. I have one Connor McDavid one, I think. I think that's all I have. And my entire little Seinfeld, it's like a mini Funko Pop Seinfeld diagram collection. I'll show you guys at the very end. But I don't really collect them too much. Like, it's one of those things where I'm like, I don't want to get anything collecting those, because I know me, there'll be shelves in this fucking room now. And all these on there, I'm like, no, I'm not going to start collecting them. I will get the occasional one I really like, such as the Metallica Master of Puppets one. I missed out on getting at Walmart when it first came out. I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, if I get it, maybe I'll get it some other time. I've never seen it again since. So there really is FOMO for me there, to the point where I might just spend $100 and buy it online. People sell it on eBay and Amazon, and I'm like, oh my god. Regardless, I bought the posters. While I was waiting for Jackass, I was casually looking at the guy's collection he had, and this caught my eye. And it was very fitting because I just got the singlet itself, the Bret Hart singlet. And I noticed right away a WrestleMania ring. And I was like, what WrestleMania is that, Jackass? I told Jackass, and he goes, that's WrestleMania 12, it's Bret and Shawn. Well, this is one of my favorite WrestleMania matches of all time. In my top 5, this match is on there. Number 1 is Bret and Austin from the very next WrestleMania. But as soon as I looked at it, I'm like, oh my god, I want this. It has both Bret and Shawn. I don't know if you guys can see them in there. In their original attire. The actual WrestleMania 12 ring with the actual logo on it, if you guys can see from the top there. Yeah, I was like, that's so fucking cool. I looked at the price, it was $30. As you guys can see, $30. And I'm like, yeah, you know what, I'll get that too. And as soon as I grabbed it, sorry, I had to clear my throat there. As soon as I grabbed it, the guy's like, well, they're 2 for 1, buy 2, get 1 free, or buy 1, get 1 free, as long as they have the little price sticker underneath. And so I was like, oh great, I don't want another one. And he's like, yeah, well, my buddy Jackass, like, it's free, you might as well. So I'm looking around, he's got a whole wall of these things. Nothing catches my eye. And then I told the guy, like, what I was looking for. I'm like, I really wanted the Metallica set, but I don't know. And he's like, well, we got this guy up there. He's in the same, he's got a price sticker underneath him, so you can get him for free as well. And that was Angus Young, the guitarist from AC/DC. As you guys can see, it comes with a little cool backstage, or little back area with lights, the AC/DC logo. I do like AC/DC. Is it my favorite band of all time? No. It's in my top 10 for sure. I mean, everyone likes AC/DC. How can you not? Their music is so nice to listen to. So that's pretty neat. And I'm like, okay, well, I got it for free, so you'll go into the display case today as well with the little AC/DC back sign. Yeah, that's cool. I don't know why. For the longest time, I thought this was Brian Johnson, because I didn't even look. I didn't care. I'm like, whatever, I'll just get that. He pulled it down from the shelf for me, took it to the till. I thought it was Brian Johnson, and I was thinking to myself at some point, I was like, that would have been nice if it was Angus, because he's the most, like, iconic image of AC/DC you see. And yeah, it's Angus, so I'm happy with that. So we'll take both those out of the pack and add it to the cabinet. Then I decided, okay, well, you know, maybe I will get that item I seen from Primo's, because it was only $50. I was like, I'll go and grab that. Well, we stopped at Sunrise Records before we went to Primo's in Kildonan Place. My buddy Jackass bought a couple NECA old horror movies, big into horror movies, old horror movie toys. Like, I think he bought The Wolfman and The Mummy because they were on sale. While we were there, I seen on a shelf the brand new. I kind of seen it online beforehand, and I thought that'd be cool to add to my shelf if I ever get a chance to get it, because A, I play Marvel Rivals, and I main this character in Marvel Rivals, especially in a DPS position. And secondly, I just love this character. He's one of my favorite Marvel characters, if not my most favorite, and that is the Punisher. This is the Punisher War Journal 8 cover inspired by the cover because there's a lot of discrepancies here. But still, it's an awesome Mcfarlane statue. I looked up reviews on it before I came home last night in our hotel, or the night prior, I guess. And I do know that the comic that comes with this isn't actually War Journal number 8. The gun obviously isn't from the cover of the War Journal, as you can see, it's like an assault rifle. We'll touch on that a little bit later, but the statue itself is awesome. It'll look good on my shelf, and like I said, I do play the Punisher in Marvel Rivals, and this is my favorite Punisher outfit of all his outfits in comics, so I was like, that's going to be cool to add to my arcade as well. So yeah, we'll be adding him in there too. And what I got from Primo's is actually an old Mcfarlane. I remember seeing in Walmart back when I was 19, 20 years old, and that is Edmonton Oilers Curtis Joseph Cujo. Nice thing with Primo's is they have old toys, old collectibles, and some of them are really expensive. They have old LGN wrestlers there for like $180 each, which sucks for me because eventually I'm going to get Jim and Brett just to add for my collection here. But yeah, they have old Mcfarlanes as well. So I seen this on a wall. I'm like, oh my god! I always thought to myself I wanted that when I was younger, but I was too broke to get it. And it's my favorite goaltender on my team of all time. So Cujo's my favorite goalie of any Oiler goalie of all time. I know it's pretty ballsy to say, considering Grant Fuhr's in that pool as well, but he was around my favorite time of the Edmonton Oilers when I was watching. I talked about in my video when I was unveiling my Oiler jerseys, or ranking them. This era was my favorite era of Oiler hockey, despite how unsuccessful they were. So, a big part of that was because of him. Some of those series they stole was strictly because of him going crazy. But yeah, so we're going to unbox the 4 of these, get a closer look at them, and then we'll add them to the shelf, and I'll show you guys exactly how my beautiful shelf looks now behind me. So excited, so happy with it. With that being said, let's get to these unboxings. Okay, so here's our first unboxing. It's going to be of the AC/DC Funkopop Angus Young. These ones are pretty simple to unbox. There's not much tape or anything like that. I'll check the playback. If any of this is just overly loud, I will just either skip ahead or I'll completely nullify the sound in Adobe Premiere. But let's open this up. They got a backdrop with speakers here. That would only be really practical if you kept it in the case, I imagine. It's kind of why I don't like unboxing minis or toys in general, because it does get quite loud. I know I've watched ASMR videos where people are unboxing them and it's that loud cracking and everything. I'm like, dude, that is not relaxing. I might just cut that out. We'll see. Alright, so here he is. Get that little sleeve out of there as well. Comes with the backdrop with the speakers and the lights. That looks really good. Yeah, I'm really impressed with that. Like I said, I do like AC/DC. They are a classic rock act from Australia. I don't want to really get into their history, but their music is really iconic rock music. I actually mentioned this in my 100 pieces of advice. I can't remember what video it is. 100 tips, I think. Grockstar tips of the day, or 100 tips. I talked about how they're one of these safe bands to pick if you're on a road trip with people with vastly different tastes in music. AC/DC is a safe one to put on because it's universally liked. Not a lot of people dislike AC/DC. I say that, and my wife actually really dislikes them. She hates it when I play them. But yeah, that's really neat. Angus Young doing his iconic skip, which is what he's iconic for. Everyone knows him as it. What his little, I'm not sure what the issue is, or the thing is. I think it's like a schoolboy uniform. I can't recall. English schoolboy uniform. I don't know the whole history behind that, but yeah, that's my Angus Young ACTC Funko Pop. Like I said, we will add him to the shelf for sure. So let's move on to the next Funko Pop here. Okay, so this is the reason why I ended up with this Angus Young. I purchased this, and I honestly almost left that store without getting a second one because nothing really caught my eye. Because, like I said, I'm not into collecting Funko Pops. I just wanted this because of the context of it. I'm a huge fan of this particular match. This was from WrestleMania 12 in March 31st, I believe it was, of 1996. Bret Hitman Hart versus Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels. And super conflicted match for me as a 10-year-old. I was a huge Bret Hart fan, and but at the same time I was a Shawn Michaels fan, and I wanted to see Shawn win his first title. But when it all came down to it, at the end of the day, I decided the week of, because it was huge. This was a huge important match in his schoolyard. Everyone was talking about it. I decided I'm going with Bret. I think Bret retains the title here, and I think we should all be cheering for Bret because one, he's Canadian, and two, everyone's always liked him, and everyone was against me, going, no, it's got to be Shawn. It's got to be Shawn. So I really wanted Bret to win, even though in my heart I'm like, if Shawn wins, I won't be upset. So Bret Hart ended up losing the title in an overtime. This match, you guys, was a Iron Man match. A 60-minute Iron Man match. They've had Iron Man matches that aren't 60 minutes since then, I believe. But these guys went the full 60 minutes. So what an Iron Man match is in wrestling, it's basically a 60-minute long game, and you see who has the most score at the end of it. So who can pick up the most victories at the end of it. And these guys went to they're backing here, as you guys can see. These guys went to overtime in that no one scored a pinfall victory in 1 hour. So the big argument was among wrestling fans. Sorry if that bumped the microphone, you guys. The big argument among wrestling fans, even though it's fake, but still a debate we used to have, was if you were a Bret Hart mark like I was, you were like, well, it was over. There was no overtime. Whatever the score was at the end of 60 minutes, that's who wins the match. And if no one wins the match, then the champion retains the title, clearly. So that's what I used to say on a recess field. Everyone was all happy. And I'm like, bullshit. Bret should have retained because there was no pinfall. These guys are so wobbly. I'm trying to hold them up for you guys. There was no pinfall, so Bret should have retained the title. But then Gorilla Monsoon came out. Gorilla Monsoon. And he's like, no, there will be a winner, so keep wrestling. And of course, as we know, Shawn landed the super kick and won the title. Also, the other thing we used to argue about in the field was Bret Hart had the sharpshooter applied to Shawn a very dying seconds of the match, and he had to let it go because the bell rang and the 60 minutes were up, and he thought, well, it was over. He wanted to keep his title because no one got a score. Well, we used to say, well, he would have just held on to the sharpshooter until Shawn passed out or Shawn tapped out. So that's another thing we thought about when or we used to say when the match was over. So there's Shawn's iconic white with the gold hearts he only ever wore for WrestleMania 12. This one's really memorable, this entrance he made, because he came down from a zip line or what is this? Okay, it was like a dirt or something. Still, there's a bit of a dot there now. He rappelled down from the ceiling of the Anaheim Arrowhead Bond Arena, which is really cool. And then Bret just did his regular march down the aisle. There he is, looking Mr. Serious with the old black spandex. This is all accurate, by the way. He didn't have the Hitman logo on the side of his pants yet. That would come at the end of that year. He would start putting Hitman, and he never took it off. And then his butt used to have the 4 stars, but he started to put a Hitman skull logo, much like this one here, like a modified version of that one there. But them standing here clearly is like the beginning of the match. They did like an introduction, like it was a boxing match, and I remember Brett standing there with his glasses above his head, holding his belt, looking all serious. And Sean had his coach, Jose Lothario, in his corner as they were giving them the rules of the match. But yeah, when I get to this WrestleMania, by the way, in my WrestleMania book reading, I will have this on display while we read that WrestleMania 12. Overwhelming, a reasonable WrestleMania, not the best of all time, obviously not even a top 10, I would say, but this match is in a top 5 for sure of not even WrestleMania matches, but greatest matches of all time. So that's those two. We'll see how long I keep these guys on the table, guys, because they're so unstable. Like, I move this and look at they're bobbling away. Angus is anchored down, which is why he's not moving, but okay, let's get on to the Mcfarlane collectibles we picked up now. Okay, so our first Mcfarlane we're going to look at is Curtis Joseph in his Edmonton Oilers attire. This was from the Series 14 Mcfarlane Toys of the NHL series. Curtis Joseph was my favorite Oilers goalie. Like I said, I watched him during that whole era of the late 90s. He was a key reason as to why they upset Dallas Stars and the Colorado Avalanche in consecutive playoff first round matches in 97 and 98. It was 90% because of this guy. Like, he just was a wall. And obviously my favorite Oilers of all time, some of them were on that team, Doug Weight, etc. He was my favorite Oiler on that team. Him and Doug Weight are for sure the top 2. And a huge reason why I'm a Oiler fan today, even though I'm from Edmonton. I just absolutely loved the heart of this team at the time. And this guy was a huge reason to that. Now, what I'm really bummed out about now, and I didn't know this because I have my McDavid one behind me. I should talk about this now. I have a Max Crosby, you guys can see there. Raiders Max Crosby right here. I was going to do an unboxing just for him. I'm like, that would be a really quick video though. I'm glad I didn't. His ankle broke when I was trying to put him in a bag, so he's actually sitting there with a broken ankle. I haven't glued him yet. And yeah, I'm just super disappointed with that. I was so bummed out. I'm like, I'm so glad I didn't do an ASMR video about that, but I'm just gonna have to glue it on there. It's kind of a pain, but so let's unbox this. I think I'm gonna have to cut him out. So I definitely will cut that while I open up the back here, because that's going to be super loud. But let's get down to that. Oh. Okay, so I'm really glad I cut that out, because that was really loud. Unfortunately, there's no other way to unbox these because they're sealed shut. And it's crazy because as soon as I cut it open, you can smell all that fresh plastic from these models. It's a real distinct smell. So I think this is upside down. I think it was taped. I think that was taped down initially is why that was so loud. So we're gonna have to take the tape off and then untie this. I think I'll just cut this tape. There's a plastic peg under here. I wonder what this peg is for. I'm not sure what this is for. It's a peg or a post. We must need it. Sorry if that's loud, guys. But as I was saying, we must need this for something. Put that down for now. Oh, there's a whole piece of plastic I cut off, still sitting here. I didn't see. Okay, so these aren't bands. I brought the scissors because I thought I had to cut bands off. The newer Mcfarlanes, I think As I say that, as I'm getting knotted up here. There we go. This net feels like a real net. Obviously it is a real net, but that's kind of neat. I've never gotten a goalie Mcfarlane. I never ever thought about getting one. I honestly didn't even think about ever getting a Cujo. I didn't even know they existed. Or I should say I didn't know they still existed. Because like I said, I remember seeing it at Walmart way back in the day. Way back in the day. But yeah, these hobby shops, like I said, or these collectible shops, they have, I don't want to say everything, but the chance of you finding something that was in stores, this was in stores like 20 years ago, is good. Like I said, the nice thing about Winnipeg is there's like, oh, this is going across the front of them. I do not want this to scrape any paint, so we're going to go forward here. I don't want to scratch any of this paint. There we go. Oh geez, there's more to take off as well. There's the net. So the net is out. I'm glad I didn't keep pulling on that because there's a hook there. Oops. Bumped the microphone here. What else is tied down? Oh, his pad. Both pads. Okay. Kind of tedious, yes, I know. Kind of makes you wish that these were actually like just bands, so you could have cut them and be done with it. Actually, and I think about it, this is more of a pain in the ass. Okay, so I think I'm gonna try to just straighten these and pull him right out of this plastic. The other one, I guess, is two. Yeah. And the stick is, yeah, it's taped in there, so. I'll talk about what I'm really disappointed in this figure right off the bat when we get this out. Because already I'm looking at something that I'm like, oh, this is not accurate at all. Oh my goodness, what a pain in the ass. Maybe it's because it's such an old piece of tape. Like it was taped up over 20 years ago. Okay, well, it's out now. Okay. So everything's free. Let's put that down to the side, and our Mr. Curtis Joseph is finally free. There he is, before we put him in a net. Okay, so first off, this Edmonton Oilers jersey, as I've talked about in my jersey videos, is my favorite jersey of all time. Particularly the white one is my favorite jersey of all time. Now what's really cool with this is Cujo has his Cujo mask. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's really not focusing, is it? It's a mask he wore his whole career. It's the dog Cujo from the Stephen King book and movie. And obviously Curtis Joseph's name is Curtis Joseph, so for short he called himself Cujo. That's disappointing. I can't show you guys. I have to autofocus it in my... maybe we'll see it a little bit better here in a second. He would wear that his whole career, and it was one of the coolest masks in the league, I always thought. always these Mcfarlanes, unfortunately. I don't know what it is, but when it comes to their athletes, most of the time the pictures or the athletes don't look like themselves at all. And this does not look like Curtis Joseph. Again, I couldn't show you guys if I wanted to because it won't focus. I really want the mask to focus for you guys. I don't know if it will with that, but regardless, even the mask itself, it doesn't do it justice. It's nice, but it doesn't do it justice. Okay, so what I really don't like about this this mini, or this collectible, unlike my Connor McDavid one I have behind me, this doesn't have any gear. Like, he used to always wear Coho gear. That was his main thing, Coho and iTech. And actually the iTech is there. On his mask, it's there. You guys can't see that, but yeah, it is there, the iTech. But his pads are Cujo and Edmonton. And they were Coho pads. So maybe they didn't have the rights to Coho at the time for these minis to make them accurate. So yeah, it's like he's wearing his own gear, his own custom gear, which is not what he did. Colors are all right and everything else, but yeah, the gear itself, like Edmonton gear and Cujo gear, that's not it. He was wearing Coho gear, Coho or CCM, whatever it was. Regardless, it looks good. I'm super pumped to add him to my collection with McDavid. I'm really curious as to what this little white plastic is. Was it a spare piece for this pole, this post? No, it's too small for that. Let's try to put this together and try to figure out exactly what this little white pole is for. Let's get the net on. It looks like all the net pegs are there, so it's not that. Oh, it's hard to get these little pegs through. Now, this is what I'm afraid of, because this happened with Max Crosby, trying to get these poles into peg holes, and then the pegs will snap. So I don't know if I want to do that. You know what I'm seeing here? There's a hole here. Huh. There's a hole on top of this one hole along the bar. I wonder if this goes through that and through the back end. Let's try that. Like more stabilization maybe is what that's for. I have to get this hole through the mesh, so bear with me. Yeah, I'm super afraid, guys, of snapping this. I think that's what this might be. That's the only thing that makes sense. But again, I gotta get it through this mesh. Actually, you know what? I don't think it fits in there. Sorry for playing arts and crafts with you guys here. I don't think that fits in there. It does not fit in there, so that's not what this is for. Okay, that's in. That's in. Even though it doesn't want to stay in. That's in, right? Okay, so all of them are in right now. I guess it is kind of staying. It does feel like it's going to pop out any second, but I really don't know what this is for. Maybe the only thing is nothing is straight like that for this to be a... And Curtis has 2 pegs for his knee right there. So we'll do that. There we go. And his stick. stick could be backwards then. Oh jeez, I don't want to break it. Take it out of here. Oh, there we go. It just goes on the ground, I guess. Yeah, just like that. There he is. Again, we don't know what the mystery white bowl is for, but that is a mean-looking mini. Curtis Joseph. And I will add him right up there with Connor McDavid. Hopefully that wasn't too painfully loud for everybody. The Punisher won't be his one piece, so yeah, very, very, very nice. I'm very happy with this. You know, it was crazy. I'm just thinking about this. I should maybe bring this up. Guys, what the hell is this for? This was made 20 years ago. So it ended up in stores and no one ever bought it, or somebody rather bought it, but they never opened it and they sold it to a collectible shop. aka Primos, whether directly or through eBay. And it sat there. So I always think about this now, like this thing was around when I was 18 years old. Or 19 years old, rather. In stores. And whoever would have thought that, 20 years later, a 39-year-old me would be unboxing him in my arcade. And he would belong to me. That's kind of weird. It's not like he just came out and I bought him just now and there was a good chance I was going to buy him, right? It's just the fact that it took 20 years for him to get right here, right now, being opened up. And yeah, that's kind of neat to think about. So we're going to put good old Cujo and his random pull somewhere right there. I really hope this isn't too loud for you guys. I really don't like doing unboxing videos because of how loud it gets. But, yeah, hopefully it's not too bad. Like I said, I'll listen to the playback, and if it is, I'll just lower the volume during those times. But with that being said, let's get to our last collectible, the other Mcfarlane of this weekend's purchases. Okay, so here he is, the Punisher. War Journal number 8. This is brand new. This came out in July. And like I said, I seen it on Mcfarlane Toys on Instagram, and I was like, that would be really nice to get if I ever get the opportunity to get him, because I do main Punisher in Marvel Rivals. And like I said, it comes with a comic, which don't be fooled by this. It's actually not this comic, the War Journal it's inspired by. It's another one. It's from the War Journal, but it's not number 8. It's like number 6 or something. So I don't care. I didn't care about the comic. I didn't get him for the comic. But let's open him up. Looking at him now, I think he's just gonna fit in my cabinet. My cabinet can fit up to 12-inch figurines. And this guy, I think, at his tallest is 10.5, which is the tip of his gun. So he's right at that limit. But let's open him up. We have scissors this time because we're gonna need it for these stickers up top. And again, I don't care about the box itself, it's just going in the garbage. Come on, get in there. Get in there. Let's comes with this, basically like a diagram. You can make it look like the comic book cover. As you guys can see, this is up here. We're not going to do that. We're not going to use the backing. He's going into the arcade cabinet. But if you flip this around, there you have the issue of the War Journal number 8, which is very deceitful because it's actually War Journal number 6. So here he is. I don't think there's any bands on him at all. What am I saying? There's one right here. And yeah, it's the rubber bands, so we could just cut these off. Yoink. And yoink. And now he can come straight out. Oh, there's one in his gun as well, actually. Okay, so we definitely had to cut that. That was extremely loud to pop him out of there. But here he is. In all his punishing glory. I'm not going to bother with the comic because, like I said, it's not the right comic anyway. It comes with a little trading card as well. There are lots of YouTube videos if you guys are really interested in seeing about the comic. We're just going to go over this figure. Oh my god, he is amazing. Holy shit. He's heavy too. I like this little base he's standing on. Looks like it's the edge of a building and it's introducing damage, which I guess is a villain maybe, or another hero he runs into. Now I see a lot of people that were doing the reviews are pissed off that his grenade launcher's kind of bent, and mine's bent as well, as you can see that. As well, the rifle's not the same rifle as it is on a comic. If they're inspired by it, almost everything else is. There's 2 missing grenades on his belt, and this is a completely different rifle than the one that's on the cover. This rifle almost looks like Cable's rifle, doesn't it? But the finish on him and everything is, oh, it's so nice, guys. This is a genuine nice Mcfarlane. Oh my god. I'm so glad I didn't get the Spawn one last time. I almost got a Spawn Mcfarlane a long time ago. I think not long time ago, but like last summer when we were looking at through Sunrise Records, and I almost got it from my old display, which wasn't this, it was just my old shelf. And that one was the same price as this guy, and I'm like, I don't really read Spawn, he's not really my favorite. I'm so glad I waited and I got Frank instead. And this outfit, like I said, is my favorite Punisher outfit. The full-on white gloves, white pants, or white boots, the white bandana, that awesome, awesome Punisher skull, the classic Punisher skull. Eventually I do see this going in Marvel Rivals, and I'm just thinking about it now. In doing so, we're going to add another booty to the game. But yeah, one of my favorite Punisher skins of all time and my favorite Marvel character of all time, so we're going to add him to the shelf as well. So that's all these collectibles I got this trip, guys. I actually only spent $130 total on all of these because some of them were on sale. Like I said, these were 2 for $30, so basically 15 bucks each. Yeah, it was a good haul. I'm trying to get everybody in here without anyone being blocked. There we go. So it was a good haul. I'm gonna put these in the cabinet and show you guys exactly what I have in there. And yeah, let's take a look at that, guys. And then I think that's gonna be it for this video. So. Okay, so here is our cabinet as we have it currently set up. I'm not sure if I'll change it around or not, but let's take a look at this. So obviously we've got my Street Fighter Cammy. There's Curtis Joseph, we just added that badass Friday the 13th Part 6 New Blood Jason Voorhees. There's our Mcfarlane McDavid, and there's our brand new Mcfarlane Punisher. So 3 Mcfarlane collectibles in that one shelf. That's my round 5 Pride 28 Quentin Jackson. There's Evangeline Silva. There's the broken Max Crosby and his broken foot. I need the super glue. Mcfarlane, very disappointed in this one. There's our brand new WrestleMania 12, Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. That looks really nice. There's a Conor McDavid back there in the background chilling, watching this random stripper samurai girl. And there's Angus Young playing her song, which actually doesn't look too bad. There's my bobblehead, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl statues. And here's my Seinfeld diagram of the apartment with the Funkopop Seinfeld characters. Shitty fact, Kramer can't stand in his own because of the size of his head. And here is my solid snake. I'm not sure what that brand of collectibles are, but they're really nice. So yeah, that's it right now. That's what I have. That's how I have it organized. I probably will switch it up, but we'll see what happens. Peace out, everybody. Have a great day, great weekend, whatever it may be, and peace out.